On the day of the girl's wedding, her dog of many years suddenly nudged her forehead, and at that moment she was completely stunned because this was the special gesture she had shared only with her father. She remembered the day the dog had first appeared. It happened to be the very day she lost her father. From that day onward, every time she looked at the dog she always felt like her dad was right there by her side. When she was 16, her father had taken her to the Yalta Mountains to fulfill her dream of skiing. She skied down the slope excitedly, not noticing the hidden danger. Her father shouted desperately, but she couldn't hear him with her headphones on. In a panic, her father ran in front of her to stop her, but an accident happened. The ground beneath his feet gave way and he fell down a cliff dozens of meters high to save his daughter. When he was rescued, he was barely alive. The girl and her mother stayed by his side day and night praying for a miracle, but her father never woke up. The girl was overwhelmed with regret and guilt. On the way home, a small dog suddenly appeared, and seeing its helpless look, she felt a strong urge to protect it, but the pet store owner came and took the dog away. Their story didn't end there. That night, the little dog actually pushed open the glass door, escaped from the pet shop, and ran to the girl's house. Using its nose, it jumped straight onto her father's special chair. When the girl saw this, she was completely shocked. The dog's arrival felt like a gift from her father, but her mother secretly threw the dog away. The girl searched sadly but couldn't find it. However, the next day the little dog appeared again at the intersection where she waited to go to school, as if it had been waiting for her. This made the girl even more certain that it had a special connection with her, so she secretly brought the dog home. Her mother still strongly opposed it. Then the dog suddenly barked fiercely at her mother. Her mother stepped back in fear, and in the next second the ceiling fan fell down and almost hit her. Her mother realized the dog had saved her life. From then on, her mother no longer opposed keeping the dog. Strangely enough, the little dog always liked to sit on her father's chair, loved watching the football matches her father had enjoyed, and even the habit of drinking cola was exactly the same as her father's. Once their house was flooded due to heavy rain, she and her mother were busy moving their things when the dog suddenly started barking non-stop. She followed its gaze and saw the electrical wires short-circuiting. The girl immediately went to tell her mother to leave, but the danger was already imminent. The wires were about to fall into the water. She could only hold her mother tightly and wait for the worst to happen, but the accident didn't occur at that moment. Then they heard the sound of breaking dishes from the kitchen. She thought the dog was making a mess, but her mother called her over. It turned out the dog had pulled down the power switch in time. This made the girl think of her father again, because the power switch at home had always been her father's responsibility. Gradually, with the little dog's company, the girl got over the grief of losing her father. Her mother also cheered up and started rebuilding the business her father had left behind. Until the day of the wedding, the dog repeated the gesture that had been between her and her father and looked at her with reluctant eyes. The girl suddenly realized her father had never really left. He was just guarding her in a different way. When the wedding started, the dog led her up the aisle just as her father had promised to personally hand her over to the groom. After hearing the groom's vow, the dog finally felt at ease and walked off the stage quietly. Witnessing the girl's happiness, were you moved by this selfless love?